Group 1, Veterans. Representing those who have lost the battle from within, Susan Shipp. Afghanistan, Brian Bailey. Iraq, Lauren Darcy. Submariners, Tex O'Grady, OAM. Royal Australian Regiment, Bruce Sinclair. Prisoners of War, Peter Scott. Australian Army nurses massacred at Banker Island, Gillian Scott. And for all animals in all conflicts of war, Denise Taylor. Ex-service organisations. Currumbin Palm Beach RSL Sub-Branch, Peter Thorpe. Veteran Support Centre, June Kremen. Currumbin RSL Memorial Club, Pamela Poynton. Open Arms, Sean Skelton. SPARS, Colonel David O'Hagan, RFD, retired. Gold Coast War Widows, Debbie Bassick. Currumbin RSL Chaplain, Dave Marrett. Veteran Health Association, Milton Nyawata. Emergency Services, representing Queensland Police, Acting Assistant Commissioner, South Eastern Region, Craig Hanlon. Representing Queensland Fire and Emergency Services, Chief Superintendent Brad Commons, ASFN. Representing the Australian Federal Police Northern Command, Superintendent Josh Kinghorn. Queensland Ambulance Service, Acting District Director, Gold Coast District, Justin Payne. SES, Mark Winter. Rural Fire Services, Joe Squire and Nicholas Perry. Federal, state and divisional members and politicians. Senator for Queensland, Senator the Honourable Murray Watt on behalf of the Australian Government. State Member for Currumbin, Honourable Laura Gerber, MP. Member for Currumbin, Minister for Youth and Justice and Victim Support and Minister for Corrective Services. Division 13, City of Gold Coast, Councillor Josh Martin. Division 14, City of Gold Coast, Councillor Gail O'Neill. Representing the Honourable Peter Dutton, MP, Leader of the Opposition, Leon Rebello. Community and local businesses. Bolton Clark, the largest provider of aged care in Australia and the Gold Coast, Linda Jongaling. Southern Gold Coast Chamber of Commerce, Zach Revere and Josh Yates. Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary, Travis Couch. National Trust, Jamie Cultris. The Pines Shopping Centre, Heath Robin and Stuart Breen. John Flynn Hospital, Joanne Mitchell. Currumbin Clinic, Ben Uprichard. Volunteering Gold Coast, Ben Naday. Representing District Gold Coast RSL, Ray. Sporting groups. Gold Coast Suns coach Damien Hardwick. Gold Coast Titans Kieran Foran. Currumbin RSL Fishing Club Colette Purcell. Marine Rescue Alex Talbot. Currumbin Vikings Surf Lifesaving Club Robert Dunlop and Peter Harding. Palm Beach Touch Association Alicia Burgess and Kylie Bellingham. Palm Beach Soccer Club, Darren DeBrecini and Sandra Ferraro. Chugum Bowls and Community Club, Sue Clark. Where's your student? Schools from the local catchment. Palm Beach Currumbin State High School, Sahara Zisti and Isaac Elmore. Eleanor State High School, Zoe Bird and Danica Whitty. Palm Beach State School, Olivia Harris and Cody O'Keefe. Currumbin Community Special School, Patty Dwyer and Rebecca Hersel. If there's anybody else who would like to lay a wreath and hasn't been called, please come forward.
The time has come to say goodnight, for every road must end. To the ones who care and are always there, our very special friends. Let's say goodnight to those we love, and maybe shed a tear. But before we close, let's think of those we love who can't be here. Let's raise our hands to absent friends, for every road must end. You'll always be there in our hearts, our special absent friend. And when it's time for us to go, and our long journey ends, we'll never be alone, you see. We'll be with absent friends. Let's raise our hands to absent friends, for every road must end. You'll always be there in our hearts, our special absent friend. Let's raise our hands to absent friends, for every road must end. You'll always be there in our hearts, our special absent friend. Our special absent friend.
The bond of Australian and New Zealand friendship and mateship as a result of war and conflict will never diminish. Brothers in arms, in the spirit of Anzac. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the national anthems of New Zealand and Australia.
Hooray! Return! Front!
Catapult party! Raise them! Up!
Eioa atua, ona iwina tora, ata whakarongona, me aroha noa, kia hua ko te pai, kia tatoa ta whai, mana ki tia mai, Aotearoa, God of nations at thy feet, in the bonds of love we meet. Hear our voices, we entreat. God defend our free land. God Pacific's triple star, from the shafts of strife and war, make her praises heard afar. God defend New Zealand. Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Hooray! And then, hey!
Catapult party! Raise them! Stop!
Dismount the catapult guard.
Catapult party! Inward! Stop! Catapult party! West! March!
Please be seated. As we draw this commemoration to a close, let us carry the spirit of Anzac Day with us, not just today, but every day. The sacrifices made by our brave soldiers continue to resonate through the generations, reminding us of the importance of unity, resilience, and courage in the face of adversity. We owe a debt of gratitude to those who served and continue to serve our nation. Their selflessness and dedication have paved the way for the freedoms and opportunities we enjoy today. It is our duty to honour their legacy. It is our duty to honour their legacy by upholding the values they fought and by supporting for our veterans and their families.
The 6 years I have left in the city, every night dream of the sea. They say home is where you find it, but with this place it ever satisfy me, 'cause I come from the soul. What are people? We are live by the sea. I'm down here living in this city. I'm with my girls, my family, my island home, my island home, my island home is waiting for me. My island home, my island home, my island home is waiting for me. In the evening, flowers grow from the hills and across the plains, and I close my eyes and I am dreaming many boats on the sea again, and I'm holding it long turtle speed. I can't see it's close now, but it must be. My island home is waiting for me. My island home, my island home, my island home is waiting for me. My island home, my island home, my island home is waiting for me. My island home, my island home, my island home is waiting for me. My island home, my island home, my island home is waiting for me. My island home is waiting for me.
On this Anzac Day, let us recommend ourselves to the principles of peace, justice and equality. May we always remember the cost of war and strive to build a better, more compassionate world. Thank you for joining us in this solemn remembrance, lest we forget. Good morning.
Hello everyone and welcome to a very special edition of Sunrise, live from the Currumbin Dawn service on Anzac Day.
Yeah, thousands have gathered here to remember the men and women who have gone before us, fought and died for our freedoms, and they have witnessed one of the most beautiful services on what has been the most important day on the Australian calendar.
Yeah, we have special coverage of what everyone is doing here on the Gold Coast and at the dawn services around this nation this morning, and we hope you can stay with us. 110 years on from the landing at Gallipoli, Australians across the country and right around the world have united to remember and honour those who risked and gave their lives to protect our nation.
Let's bring in our reporters across the country. First to Josh Martin in Canberra at the Australian War Memorial. Josh, it was a moving service there in our capital.
Good morning, Sherva. Yes, this is the first year that the National Dawn Service has been held at the new parade ground here at the Australian War Memorial, and that allowed for a bigger crowd to attend this year. An estimated 30,000 people here in Canberra this morning, paying tribute to the Anzacs. It is 110 years since the Australian and New Zealand troops went up the beach at Gallipoli, and since then more than 100,000 Australians have died in conflicts. We remember them today, as well as all veterans who have served in peace and during conflicts. In attendance at today's service was the New Zealand High Commissioner to Australia, the New South Wales Governor, the Deputy Chief of the Navy, Rear Admiral Matt Buckley, as well as the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and his fiancée Jodie Hayden. The Prime Minister spent Anzac Day on the Kokoda Trail in Papua New Guinea last year, but has returned to Canberra this year, and he read the Anzac Day dedication. Let's take a listen to the Prime Minister.
As the dawn is even now about to pierce the night, so let their memory inspire us to work for the coming new light into the dark places of the world.
Chevo, it was a moving service. We heard the Ode read out, the Last Post and Reveille, as well as the Australian and New Zealand national anthems. Anthony Albanese and Peter Dutton won't be campaigning today. Today is not a day for politics. We're only a week or so out from the election, but today is a day for quiet reflection. Sherva?
Let's go to Liam Tapper in Sydney now. Liam, thousands have turned out to pay their respects at the Cenotaph in Martin Place.
Yeah, morning, Nat. Yeah, they certainly have. And while it was raining quite heavily before this morning's service, and the rain has come back now during the service, the rain stopped and there was moments of calm, of peace, when thousands of people descended on the heart of Sydney, and you could really feel the emotion, that solemn reflection, as many people came together to remember those servicemen and women, and as they're called soldiers, sailors, aviators who have fought on the front line for Australia. We heard it, we saw a number of dignitaries. It really had an international feel here as well this morning. There were Australian representatives, New Zealand representatives. The Commissioner from Turkey was also here in attendance and laid a wreath. But you could really feel this emotion pulsating through Martin Place when the speeches were given.
To the soldiers who marched into the abyss of battle, their hearts resolute, their spirits unyielding, we owe an immeasurable debt. We bow our heads in solemn remembrance, paying homage to the fallen heroes of the First World War.
Now, last night on Sydney Harbour, there was a sunset concert which really set the tone for how we will pay our respects here in Sydney to those fallen soldiers. And also here this morning at Martin Place, a number of young people, families as well, really trying to instil that pride with the next generation to remember just the great Australia that we have today is all down to so many people who have already given their lives, guys.
Yeah, passing that on, a big part of it. Let's go to Melbourne now, and Tegan Doling is at the Shrine of Remembrance. Tegan, what's it like there this morning?
Well, Shervo, to be honest, it was actually a bit of a disappointing start, because before the dawn service even started here, when Uncle Mark Brown was giving his welcome to country, there was a number of hecklers in the crowd. They were booing, they were yelling out, saying things like, "We're here for the Anzacs, what about the Australians?" It looks like it was quite a small group of men, perhaps 6 to 10 of them, but they were standing really close to the front near the shrine, so you could hear them over all of the loudspeakers, over all of the microphones, so much so it happened a number of times during different speakers as they echoed a very similar message.
We also pay our acknowledgements and respects to all traditional custodians of Australia. It's Australia! We acknowledge their continuous and unbroken connection to country for all of their people. And we thank each and every single one of them for being here with us.
Yeah, it was a bit startling. It's not something that I've ever heard at a dawn service before, and speaking to a few of the people who are just inside, it's still currently underway up the hill there. They say that it was really quite concerning. No arrests were made because the dawn service is still going. There have been some reports that there are a few of those right-wing extremists that are in the crowd today, so they may be spoken to from the huge police presence that's here this morning. But the dawn service continued. It's been a really touching service, as it always is, with our Governor-General Margaret Gardner making all of her wonderful remarks about the diggers who have lost their lives, even speaking about the media who are corresponding over there during the wars who too lost their lives. This is probably only a couple of minutes away from finishing here, Shervo, and then obviously we have the parade a little bit later this morning too.
Yeah, but you're right, Tegan. That's disgusting. Save your protests. Today is not the day. Georgie Chumley in Brisbane. It was a touching service there at Anzac Square.
Good morning, guys. That's right. The drizzly and dreary conditions really matching the solemn mood of the Anzac Day dawn service here at Anzac Square. It started at 4:28 a.m, almost exactly the same time that the Anzacs landed at Gallipoli 110 years ago. It was a really touching service. We heard the Brisbane Boys College Choir sing a touching rendition of Abide With Me. And Brisbane has a really strong connection to the Defence Force. One of the largest Defence Force bases in Australia is in Inogra, just 6 kilometres from the city. So we saw a lot of current servicemen and women here today. And we also spoke to Ian Carty from RSL Queensland. He said it's so important to think about the Anzacs and our Defence Force, not only today but every day. Take a listen.
Camaraderie is a really big part of today as well as commemoration, but care is ongoing, and if there are veterans out there who need assistance, they can get in touch with the RSL or Open Arms.
There are more than 500 services being held right across Queensland, many of them dawn services, but many of them kick off at 9 a.m. So if you are watching at home, there's still plenty of time to get out and pay your respects. And then, of course, in Brisbane City, we'll have the parade kicking off from 9:45.
Thanks, Georgie. Let's go to Hayden Nelson now in Adelaide. And Hayden, you're at the National War Memorial there. The service just starting.
Just getting underway as we go to air, guys. The Governor, Her Excellency Frances Addison, has just arrived. She'll be joined by dignitaries including the Premier, the Opposition Leader, the Veterans Affairs Minister and Shadow Veterans Affairs Minister here. There are about 4,000 people in attendance here. The military represented by members of the 9th Brigade, the 24th Squadron from Rath Edinburgh and HMAS Encounter. This ceremony will have the last post-paid. There'll be 2 minutes silence. This follows youth vigils which were held across the state overnight, where young volunteers, members of the CFS, SES, Surf Lifesavers and young military cadets held guard at memorials across the state before the dawn services gotten underway. And then later today there will be that march through the city involving a dozen groups of ex-serving veterans and diggers when the city can honour them and commemorate them. They'll also be joined by members of the Greek Presidential Guard who are here today. So very unique and a huge ceremony here in Adelaide. Certainly one of the biggest ceremonies I've seen in recent years, guys.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear. The ceremony just wrapping up here at Currumbin Beach. We've had kids, it's such a solemn, beautiful ceremony, so emotional, but we've had kids jumping around the set. That's what it's all about too, isn't it?
But they came down early, and I think that's the most important thing, and all of our reporters touched on it there, is the messaging, and we can't change history. Geez, we can learn from it though, and we can pass on those stories, and hopefully those kids that are better understanding it today, some of them for the first time,
exactly.
They can take take
too.
that with them, and they can pass that on as well.
So true. So good on their parents, their families for coming down here in the darkness and remembering it's such an important day, probably our most important. Let's get more news now. Here's Eddie.
Thank you, Nat and Trevor. Record-breaking crowds flooding the Vatican to see the late Pope Francis have descended into chaos, with Italian authorities at times losing control of the thousands queued in line. Live to Europe correspondent Ben Downey, who's at the Vatican for us. Ben, they're going to boost security ahead of tomorrow's funeral.
Good morning. Yes, they are. We've already, in just the last 24 hours, seen a noticeable increase here at St Peter's Square, with specialist police armed with weapons that are even able to take down drones, mounted officers as well. And this is before the true preparation gets underway. Now, Italian media are reporting that on the day of the funeral on Saturday, there will be 10,000 officers. In addition to those, there will be firefighters, officers from Interpol who are experts in dealing in counter-terrorism, nuclear, biological and even chemical weapons. And a big part of the reason for that increase in security personnel is the Vatican's initial estimate of a minimum of 200,000 attendees has now ballooned to around 500,000. And of the 170 foreign delegations they initially estimated, 130 of those have now confirmed their intention to arrive, including, of course, US President Donald Trump, French President Emmanuel Macron, and representing Australia will be Samantha Mostyn, the Governor-General. Here in St Peter's Square, though, people still continue to queue down the Via della Conciliazione for kilometres as they look to see Pope Francis' body lying in state. Last night, the lines were so long, people lined up from before midnight until 5:30 in the morning. The Vatican now believes as many as 90,000 people have viewed Pope Francis' body lying in state. Now, though, thankfully, those queues are beginning to move faster as his operation has been streamlined. Eddie?
Yeah, really extraordinary historic scenes there at the Vatican. Thank you, Ben. To breaking news, the man accused of killing 19-year-old Central Coast woman Audrey Griffin last month has reportedly died behind bars at Silverwater Prison. 53-year-old Adrian Torrens was found unresponsive in his cell before 5 yesterday afternoon. Torrens was arrested just on Monday after almost 1 month after Ms Griffin's body was found near Erina. Police are not treating his death as suspicious. Police are investigating a spree of break-ins across Toowoomba, all in just one morning. This is the moment just before 4 a.m. on Wednesday. Two offenders driving a stolen Honda forced their way into a pizza store. They also targeted a neighbouring pawn shop before breaking into a vehicle in the car park. Their getaway car was stolen from Mount Lofty earlier that evening. 3 other stores were hit, all before 4 a.m. Well, 10 hot air balloon passengers and a pilot have escaped serious injury after their joyride went wrong. Their balloon ripping on a chimney, forcing a hard landing on a scaffolding business in Melbourne's southeast. Have a look.
Oh my God! Oh my God! And the moment I realized that it was not okay was the moment when I hear the man of the balloon yelling, "Oh, we were sideways." That was a big impact.
Yeah, not really what you want to hear from the actual staff at the hot air balloon company. Authorities say the balloons are designed to tear, with the aircraft landing safely after the incident. I mean, it's a pretty rocky landing in a hot air balloon at the best of times,
Anyway.
but that really is, yeah, it's kind of like, you know, you sort of land like that.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, that's to the extreme, isn't it? Oh my gosh.
There were so many elements to that, because there was the furnace obviously going on underneath that chimney, and then the landing as well. Geez, they were very lucky, weren't they? We're having a lot of fun here, and as you can see behind us too, the kids are having a lot of fun as well. Many of their parents off to get coffees and bacon and egg rolls, and they're just hanging out on the beach and trying to get them on television.
I know.
Hello everyone, good morning.
They said,
Good to have you with
go
us.
and play with them on the Sunrise set. Yeah, hi, you're all on TV.
We
you're
can
all
hear you, we
waving.
can see you as well.
Yeah.
Some very tall kids there. Oh no, you're on top of someone.
On
That
Dad's
makes sense.
shoulders.
How good were all the head torches on the bikes as they all made their way down
Wasn't
this
that
morning
cool?
about 4:30? That was really cute.
It was kind of like BMX Bandits
Yeah,
on the
it was,
way in
wasn't
this
it?
morning.
Yeah.
So nice. Let's have a look at some sport. And the Demons have breathed new life back into their season with a 20-point win over Richmond at the MCG last night. Melbourne shot out in an early advantage, but were run down by the Young Tigers, who took a slender advantage into the half. But the Demons exploded in the second, kicking 8 of the next 9 goals to secure back-to-back wins. Skipper Max Gawn was awarded a second straight Frank Checker Hughes medal for best on ground. Good on you. Well, the NRL, what about this? The Broncos put an end to the Bulldogs' undefeated run on a wet night, very wet night at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane. The hosts ran in 6 unanswered first-half tries against the league's best defence to take a commanding 34-0 lead into the break. The Dogs eventually found some ticker in the second, scoring 3 tries. And the 2 tries in the final 2 minutes inflated the Broncos' advantage to a comfortable 24-point win. Skipper Adam Reynolds left the field in the final minutes with a shoulder injury. It was a great performance from the Brisbane Broncos playmakers on the night. Huge win for them.
Yeah, very special weekend of sport, isn't it? Australians here at home aren't the only ones who rose before dawn this morning, with many making the journey overseas to mark Anzac Day at sites steeped in history.
Yeah, we have reporters in Gallipoli in France this morning. First to Nick McCullum in Gallipoli, where the Anzac legend was born, of course. Nick, it was a powerful moment for those gathered there.
It certainly is, Shervo. In fact, about an hour ago, busloads of Anzac pilgrims arrived here, and now, as you can see, they've come and they're camping out in a grassy knoll on Anzac Cove. The mood here is a little bit jovial. There's one of excitement at the moment, but let me tell you, it changes in about 6 hours. When the sun starts to come out, you can hear the lapping of the water, and there is total silence in the lead up to the dawn service. It is just an amazing moment in Australian history. But they went through security, very tight security as they came in, and many of them spoke to us and had some interesting things to say. There's a great mixture of old and new. Let's have a listen.
As I said, being next serviceman and that, coming to the sort of, what would you call it, ground zero, I suppose, of the military's, fight.
How do you think you'll feel when the sun starts
I'll
to come up?
be a friggin' mess.
And of course, that absolutely sums it up, doesn't it? Just the emotion here. Princess Anne will be doing a reading, she'll be laying a wreath, and the Governor-General will be making the keynote address. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Nick. Let's go live to Jacqueline Robson, who's at Villas Bretoneux this morning. Jackie, what's the atmosphere like there?
Well, Nat, it's very quiet here at the Australian War Memorial, with final preparations getting underway for the dawn service in about 7 hours' time. But we went into the township of Villas Bretoneux about 5 minutes away and ran into the Australian Spirit AFL teams. The spirits, I can say, were certainly high. The 2 teams will play an Anzac Day Cup on Saturday against the French. They'll also attend the dawn service here tomorrow. It just shows the inextricable link between the 2 countries. The Anzacs led the charge to recapture the French village off the Germans back in World War I in 1918. Each player, even the coach, has a deep personal connection with the place. Take a listen.
It's a kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing. So, Anzac Day for me is just a day of immense pride for both of my service members, forebears. I'm going to speak for the entire squad. We're just all incredibly proud to be here and to have the opportunity.
My great-great-grandfather actually fought here. Unfortunately, he did pass away here in action, so it's just been a really personal, beautiful experience. Sad, but really great at the same time.
So those teams will join the hundreds who will march up the hill behind me past the headstones and the names of the thousands who lost their lives on foreign soil. 46,000 Australian casualties across the Western Front will be remembered here in what's set to be a very moving dawn service in just a few hours' time.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a rite of passage for those Australians that do turn up to Gallipoli or the Western Front, wherever it is, and remember those that have fallen right there on that ground, that hallowed ground. Just remarkable. Very emotional day for them too.
Yeah, let's go to Sam Mack. He's in Currumbin right here on the Gold Coast this morning. Hello.
Good morning, Nat. Good morning, Sherbo. A beautiful service this morning, which is about half an hour walk from where we are. We're at the Currumbin RSL, and what happens is people go to the beach, to Elephant Rock, where you guys are for the service, and then a lot of them will walk here to Currumbin RSL, which is a real hub for the Anzac Day commemorations. And it's a tradition for us. We come here every year, so a lot of familiar faces, a very special day on the calendar, and we'll tell you about our plan here this morning. Let's do a check of your weather. Brisbane, showers easing 25. Sydney, shower or two, also 25. Canberra, cloud clearing 24. Melbourne, rain increasing 24. Hobart, partly cloudy and 20. Adelaide, cloudy and 25. Perth, mostly sunny 22. Darwin, partly cloudy and 33. So this morning it will get very, very busy in here and a little bit rowdy at times, but some wonderful people with some really important stories to share over the next few hours. We've got bagpipers coming here to play live. Always great to hear that live music here commemorating Anzac Day. There'll be some two-up played in here, like a number of venues around the country. Servicemen and women coming here with their families. Rum and milk for breakfast is always on the agenda. We'll meet some real characters as well. So looking forward to spending our Anzac Day here at Currumbin RSL team. We'll see you with more soon.
Yeah, all the traditions of the day.
The simplest of things as well, right?
Thank you, Sam. Still to come on this special edition of Sunrise, the epic footy battles around the country today. We're live with how the teams are gearing up for their iconic showdowns.
Plus, Australia's richest person makes a bold call at moving Anzac Day vigils. Why Gina Reinhardt is sounding the alarm.
As we go to the break with pictures of the eternal flame in Brisbane this morning, this is Anzac Day on Sunrise. More in a moment.
Well, every Anzac Day we pause to honour the brave men and women who have given so much for our freedoms that we enjoy today. Anzac, of course, short for the Australian New Zealand Army Corps, represents a bond formed in battle and strengthened over time. As the sun goes down this morning, thousands of Australians gathered at dawn services nationwide to pay tribute of courage, sacrifice and the enduring spirit shared across both nations. And for more, let's bring in Major General Anna Duncan, joins us from the Sydney Barracks, Victoria Barracks in Sydney, in Paddington there. So Anna, just take us through the service this morning and the emotion, I guess, that's felt, not just those that have served, but also those families as well amongst us.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Shervo. Good morning, everybody. We had a cracking start this morning, this amazing Anzac Day here at Victoria Barracks, Paddington. I mean, these barracks established in 1841. This is the home of the Australian Army.